This week, we are here to see the epic resolution to Yuga versus Roa. What will happen now that Yuga has drawn Seven Swords Magician and should immediately lose the duel? Will they follow through with an epic conclusion? Not really. Alright. I should say this up front. There's still a lot I liked about this episode. We will get into that, of course. But we may have had our first few hiccups this week. And we're going to talk about them because that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk, shut up phone, fairly about what Yu-Gi-Oh! Does right and wrong. So yeah, let's get right into it. So after a 30-second long going over every card in the hand, making it feel extra boring, Yuga has in fact drawn Seven Swords Magician, even though technically cards in your hand are private knowledge, and therefore it doesn't matter what's in your hand until you play them, and having a creepy pedo robot spying over your shoulder does not actually change that. So, there's that. But yeah, no, so he draws Seven Swords Magician, and then everything just goes kind of crazy, because out of the ground comes the relic. Somehow it did not stab or kill any of these children. That would have made this work. So then it comes out, and I'm just kind of like, what? And then, like, the Jurassic Park kids show up, and it turns out them and Yuga actually knew it was coming here, and that it would show up on the full moon, apparently, and it was all gonna go on while Roa and Roman are doing their crazy-ass plan, and it's just like, what? What? So yeah, that was convenient, and so then the relic pops up, and we meet our epic puppet master behind everything that's going on. Behold, Yu-Gi-Oh's next great character, Otis! 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 You don't call an important character Otis! This is Yu-Gi-Oh! We have characters like Revolver, Ragey, Shark, Jack Atlas. Now you have Otis. It's not a cool name. God. So yeah, so then, I don't know why that name drove me that crazy. So then Otis pops up, and Otis does maybe my least favorite thing in all of television and movies. Just gives you a big info dump on everything that should have been given to you slowly over the course of the, 12 other episodes they had to do this. So yeah, first and foremost, I should probably explain why the relic coming out of the ground is not a good idea. Now the thing is that people will argue Sevens is clearly a comedy first, and I would say for right now that is correct. But the thing is that the humor in Sevens comes from a much more, personal, grounded place. Yeah, a lot of the scenarios we've been in have been goofy, but the humor you're supposed to laugh at comes more from just, the characters and their personalities. It comes from what makes them weird, what makes them likable, what makes all the people they see strange and unusual. It's character-driven humor, which I quite like. So when you throw in kind of absurdist, goofy gags like this, it just kind of doesn't really work and just feels out of place. To me, at least. If it worked for you, that's fine. But so yeah, no, then it comes up, and the reason I don't like info dumps is because nothing we really learned here felt that earth-shattering. Nothing here was really the big deal that having a giant relic come out of the ground should do. He just comes up and gives you information that probably could have been given to us slowly over the span of the 12 episodes, as opposed to what we were getting, which was 30 seconds of plot and then 21 and a half minutes of jokes. And again, I liked those jokes and I liked all of that, but if it just results in giving you a lot of information at once, pretty mind-numbingly at that, it just feels kind of cheap and unearned. That's how I really sum up what he was telling us. Because essentially all he just tells us is pretty basic information. He made the Sevens Road archetype to make society better. Well, we've seen that kind of stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! He picked Yuga because, I don't know, he had the courage to wear a pink hoodie. That's what it kind of felt like. So, I know, it's that Yuga seemed like he was out of place in this society. Well, Yuga was 6. So what does that even mean? So yeah, so that's why he gave Yuga the Sevens Roads archetype, which he created working for Goha. Okay, that could lead in a very interesting direction. We'll see where that goes later. Also, his head is shaped the same as Yuga, which might make me think maybe that's his dad or something. I don't know, it's not really important right now. So then after the info dump, fortunately the episode does recover which I did appreciate, because the rest of the episode's very fun and interesting. I really like the idea with Roa, that Roa was there that day, which we saw last week, and his big thing was he got pissed off when he saw that Yuga was chosen over him. This is sort of interesting because in these sort of like chosen one type narratives we sort of set up right there, it's usually chosen one is picked and that's about it. We never really see a lot of the guy who didn't get picked is bitter. But I could see how having someone right next to you be told, you're special, it's your destiny, you'll be the Duel King, I could see how that could piss someone off and kind of screw with them and like sort of mess up the rest of their lives. Essentially, Roa's entire life up till this point, which okay hasn't been very long, has been how do I prove that I'm worthy, I'm right, I deserve to be the best. And so what does he do? He starts a band. He starts to try and seem cool. He has the people who are in his life and sort of forces them to do his bidding. We'll get back to that. So yeah, I could definitely see that it's an interesting dynamic for the rival. A lot of the rivals do have pettiness in their personality, but to see that that pettiness kind of took over is very interesting. But what I liked after that, I will say this, the one joke I liked during the info dump was Rook being like, me, I'm the Duel King, I can do it. That was funny, I like that. But what I like that it does next is that we do see why Yuga is the right choice, because he's not mad at Roa for doing all this. He's not mad at him for trying to screw him over. He's not angry or has any malice. He understands why Roa does this. And that's what I think sets Yuga apart and why he is the right pick. It's because he's intelligent, but also he has a sense of caring and understanding for other people that allows him to want to do what is right for people. Roa doesn't want to do what's right for anyone, just himself. So to sort of see them reaffirm why Yuga is important and why he's the protagonist, I think is a very nice thing to do, and it's a very good way to write the character. On top of that, the rest of the duel is honestly just a ton of fun to watch. I really enjoy the way that their aces are used. I like the way Seven Swords is used. I am starting to get a little tired of seeing Seven Swords do everything, but you know, they got to push more product anyway, so we'll probably see a move away from that specific card at least. And so yeah, and then Yuga kind of wins the duel to be expected, and I really like the way Roa kind of like says, alright, fine. It doesn't necessarily feel like we're buddies now. It sort of feels like I still kind of don't like you, which I really appreciated. And so then the relic goes away, and Yuga's like, I'm gonna be the Duel King. I'm gonna try and go for it. And Rook, interestingly enough, kind of makes his face like, wait, what? That could lead to something very interesting. That's what I'm curious about and to see what happens next. So yeah, that to me is very interesting. So yeah, that is that. Then we skip ahead to see all our friends back at Yuga's garage lab thing, where we get really kind of the worst possible way they could have ended this episode. And that is, Rook is still mad, wants to know what Roman's secret is. Gakudo's like, leave it alone, blah, blah, blah. And then Yuga comes in and just go, oh, I know the secret. It's that you're tone deaf. And Roman gets like really red and screams no. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I was supposed to take this, in part because of how they opened the episode. But this is my question to all of you. Did it feel like Roman was saying no because that was what the secret was, or because that really just pissed her off and annoyed her? Because it kind of didn't really seem that clear to me in either direction, and part of that is because I really don't want it to be that that was the secret, because it means that having a scene where he slams her against the wall didn't get paid off because the payoff was a joke. Like, if it was just something like he was being, like, condescending, like, I'll expose your secret, it's one thing, but no, they made it a big deal that she is afraid of him and he will do stuff to her. Like, that seemed like it was going to be a bigger deal, so to just find out it was a joke, I don't really think works. If it's the other thing, and that's not the secret, or maybe there's a bigger secret going on here, then that should have been conveyed better. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is either way, I really like the duel. I like a lot of the stuff with Roa. I just don't kind of like the way the episode went about presenting it all. I just kind of feel like we might reach a point where the comedy and the need to move the plot forward maybe clashes, which is a big problem in shows like this, and I don't want that to happen because I really like this show. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. And obviously the final stinger is we see HAL 9000 for the 80 billionth time in a sci-fi show about technology and how it's taken over. But we don't know anything about that yet, so we'll deal with that later. So yeah, that was this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's flawed, but still some fun stuff worth talking about. But yeah, tell me about what you think about all that below. Was this the best episode? Was this the worst episode? That is yours to decide. As for the TCG question of the week, now I was going to talk about this last week, but at the time we didn't really know if we'd get any more info that week. I mean, technically it wasn't even an official reveal, but I wanted to wait, and since nothing happened and we probably won't see anything till maybe next year, I figured let's just talk about it now. So, last week it was discovered that Rush Duels have been trademarked by Konami Europe, which obviously means Rush Duels are coming. Yay! So my question to you is, are you excited? Would you want to try out Rush Duels? When this product gets here, will you buy it? Has the show sold you on this concept? Because I personally do really like Rush Duels and would love to give it a try, even if I don't know what deck I would personally build as of yet. Probably just the Yuga deck, because of course I would. But tell me that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week for another Roman episode. This one, we should probably just do a preemptive FBI open up.